know nothing, I know the rules, I know this and that. If you know nothing, you literally I don't even know what the NHL stands for, and you go watch a game, you'll be like, this is fucking awesome.
I told Billy they don't have too many rules, and I could explain it. Like someone's like,
the refs don't get too involved.
There was not a penalty in that whole game. One penalty, and it was I mean, very good clap, I will say. Welcome to episode 56, part 2 of the press conference. It's now February 27th, 2025, years after zero. We slept here all night.
Yep.
Just preparation for this.
We literally have been preparing for this episode for 23 hours and 59 minutes. But fucking apparently we weren't prepared enough. That shit was off.
Yeah, right. Today we're going to be going over NHL Four Nations Final. This episode should be really quick.
20 minutes at most.
At most. Yeah. We're just going to mainly talk about the Four Nations Final because that was amazing.
It's great. Hockey has figured it out, dude.
Yeah, I wish. Now the only thing I'll say about it, I want to get a couple more countries involved.
If why wasn't Russia in it? They should definitely be in it.
Why weren't they?
Russia and Ukraine weren't in it.
Why not?
I think they're busy.
Is something going on with them?
But I figured it'd be the NHL. This was the All-Star thing for the NHL.
There's literally a country destroying another country. They're not just
people aren't there. Huh? You're not understanding how this works.
Anze Kopitar is
maybe they
fighting
didn't have enough Russians, is why. Like in the NHL. Because what this was All-Stars.
They for sure do.
That were All-Star caliber is what I'm saying. They could just make it like a little international tournament is what I would like. But what I'm saying is those four nations must have had the most All-Stars. And they said, well, you guys can play in a little...
I like the idea of it being four nations for at least a couple more years.
Four nations was sick.
Yeah.
No, it was sick. But what I'm saying is like if you're a Russia...
It's short and sweet, too.
Yeah, no, it was perfect. I think, like I said, with the NBA... They need to go to the USA versus the world. The world maybe kicks the shit out of them in a one-game thing, but I think that would be way better than...
NBA has to figure something. They just
five
have to get...
teams of random people. And I think they said the game time was like 29 minutes total, and then the commercials and stuff was like an hour and a half.
If you go watch...
This isn't a fucking show.
If you go watch part one, and all we talked about was NBA, and we kind of shit on the era that it is right now. If you watch All-Star games, regular season... playoffs, if you look at anything in the NBA today compared to 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago, and think that this is the best era of basketball, you're out of your fucking mind.
Hockey, man.
Hockey, man, what's the ratings in the NBA are like down like 67% in the USA. China's literally keeping them because everyone in fucking China has a LeBron jersey.
Steph
Curry. They sleep with at night.
The Four Nations Final was the most watched hockey game on ESPN, I think, in the history of ESPN. And then I think it was the most watched hockey game in like the last 50 something. I'm sure there was an Olympic. I don't know.
Hockey has it. Hockey's just the best.
But that game, in general, McDavid got player of the game, had no reason to get it. Me and Billy watched him fumble the puck a few times. He said after the game, Jordan Binnington, in overtime, Austin Matthews had about 2 or 3 shots right in front of the net. What's up?
Across North America, the Four Nations Face-Off Final drew 16.2 million viewers.
What did Game 5 of the NBA Finals draw?
The NHL with McDavid, it's kind of like...
He's the best player.
It's a superstar thing.
No, it was. I told Uncle Al like that.
Happens in every sport. You know,
But we had chances was my main thing.
If LeBron hit, a pretty big shot in if the All-Star game was similar, they would give it to LeBron.
I told him that.
It doesn't matter.
Binnington, if you watch the game, the overtime specifically, remember that glove save he had on the...
he was unbelievable.
On the Kachuk, that save he had from across the net.
He was unbelievable.
He should have won player. And McDavid said it. McDavid did say it, but I took it.
No, he was 100% the player of the game.
What do we got?
12 million for Cavs, or Celtics, Mavs, Game 5.
Oh, so this was an All-Star game, so it wasn't like a Stanley Cup Final Game 7 or Game 5, whatever. And they outdid the NBA in the finals, which I would have not guessed that until I saw the tournament and then realized the hype about it.
But yeah, Canada seemed to have a little bit more juice, but McDavid seemed to have more nerves though as well.
I don't know what it was. He was like, I played so bad tonight. Everyone has going to have an off night, but from what we see from him normally, you saw him skating through the middle of the ice, and it's like, that dude looks like he's like walking, and those guys are on rollerblades on grass.
Like he's figured out hockey.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I like the beef going on. I like everything, man. I loved it. I love the NHL, man. You could know, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a fucking savant of the NHL. No, I'm a casual fan of the NHL, and I'm a Golden Knights fan. That's it. Used to be a Kings fan, but fuck, you could know nothing. I know the rules. I know this and that. If you know nothing, You literally I don't even know what the NHL stands for, and you go watch a game, you'll be like, this is fucking awesome.
I told Billy they don't have too many rules, and I could explain it. Like someone's like,
the refs don't get too involved.
There was not a penalty in that whole game. One penalty, and it
There
was
was one.
I mean,
Tripping.
it was fucking. I mean, fuck.
Punched him in the head.
No, literally, he like fell over and he took his stick and went like this and hit the guy in the shin with it.
Refs like, dude, we don't want to call anything, but fucking
But
hell.
one penalty in the game. I mean, the NFL, it's like, oh, was it the refs for the? It's like the fact that that's even a conversation in an NHL. Like Kachuk's walking by everybody with like, you know, when the play stopped and just cross checking people. Guys are hitting each other after the whistle, and it's like, hey, this is our sport. We don't want to call penalties.
There's
How
nothing.
impressive are these refs? They're skating.
Backward,
Their guys are
forward.
coming across and they're jumping over the puck or jumping over their
Sticks.
Let's do this. Forget the MLB for a second. NFL, NBA, NHL. Who has the best refs?
Oh, NHL. It's
NHL.
not even close.
Who has the best atmospheres?
NHL.
NHL.
NHL. Who's the best to watch?
NHL.
NHL.
I would maybe
Best-
NHL.
NFL maybe.
The shortest, because the NHL,
NHL, I'd say.
I know I'm going to get very few commercial breaks during. I know intermission's only 20 minutes. And so it's like.
But
in
you're
each
getting 20
period-
straight minutes of hockey
Of
before
hockey.
you get that break.
That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of, like, other than a random thing, you might get a commercial break in the hockey break, but very rarely. And I was watching the Washington-Edmonton game on Sunday, and Washington's up 5-3, and there's 3 minutes left in the third, and every player is playing hard, like it's the puck just dropped, and it's a 0-0 game.
Oh, there's nothing more
And-
dangerous in hockey than a 2-goal lead.
And
That's
then
what
it's
the saying is.
Edmonton pulled the goalie, and Ovechkin came in to get a hat trick, and,
Mhm.
and when he shot it, 2 players in Edmonton were diving on the ice to try to stop it, as opposed to this, like, let's let them get the sack record. Let's let them get the.
Oh, they don't
thing.
give a fuck.
They're like
they're not here for that.
they're diving to block it and not lose 6-3.
The way that competitiveness used to be in those major American sports like the NFL and the NBA back in the 1990s, the early 2000s and whatnot, NHL still has that.
Hockey has it today.
Hockey's the only one that still has it as far as those the best major American sports to watch are the NFL, the NHL, and the UFC. Those are your top 3.
Oh, I would agree. I told Billy I'm actually not because I generally the last few years I was betting baseball really heavy. I'm gonna watch more games this year for sure, just because I feel like it's like the Red Sox are kind of getting some players. Like I feel like I don't know the excitement of baseball, but I say that, but we'll see. That'll be on part 3. No, part 4.
Part 4 will be MLB, and then part 3 will be NFL, and part 1 was NBA. Go watch the NBA one.
But yeah, Ovechkin is about to break Gretzky's record. I don't think he'll be able to do it this year, but by next, he's like 12 goals away from breaking the goal record.
Yeah.
Uncle Alec got all pissed because he's like, yeah, he took away his goals. He still have more assists than Ovechkin has goals. I'm like, I'm just telling you, man, he's going to break his
telling you the
record of goals.
Gretzky has 894 career goals. Ovechkin has 883, which is crazy to think anybody's that close to it.
Go look at the points, though, is the problem. He has like 2,000 points when it comes to assists.
Yeah, Veteran has 1,000.
No, it's ridiculous. The points, that's insane.
Gretzky's insane.
That's why they put Ovechkin in for the hat trick, was to try to get closer and everything like that.
Oh, yeah,
Those
of course.
guys, but which I'm not mad at Washington. I'm not mad at Edmonton.
Well, he's a scorer, and in an empty net, you want a sniper out. You want a guy who could put it on net.
Gretzky seems like the only sport where there's the undeniable GOAT, and there's.
Oh,
no
right now,
question
yeah,
about
for
it,
sure.
yeah.
I mean Ovechkin. McDavid's gonna have to win more
Massive,
or win
bro.
at all.
Who's your GOAT? I'm going to give you 5 major American sports. Hockey,
Gretzky,
basketball,
Kobe,
football.
Brady.
Tom Brady.
That feels like a unanimous as well. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
As
Well,
of right now.
After a guy maybe won a 4th Super Bowl and his career's halfway over, people wanted to crown him the GOAT. I couldn't go that far anyway, but yeah.
UFC,
John
John Jones.
Jones,
boxing.
Mike Tyson.
Floyd Mayweather.
Interesting. Okay.
To be fair, I haven't watched any boxing before like 2000. And also, I just know that he fought the most world champions, but I know there was there more belts after the fact that were added. So that's just kind of by default. But I've just heard him talk a lot and watched a lot of his fights, and I'm like, well, I mean, he did. And he beat everybody's ass. He never really had like a close fight except for, what's the dude, Oscar De La Hoya.
No,
I felt Oscar De La Hoya won that fight.
He
Madonna.
fought twice. Madonna.
The
No,
first
but
fight.
I meant like, I think he won those fights.
He won
De
Madonna.
La Hoya was very close.
He beat both Madonna both times. Madonna was close, though. Madonna put
Right.
it on him. He beat the shit out of him the second time. I feel De La Hoya won the fight.
That was a very close fight.
If there's a
How did
sport,
Ricky Hatton do against him?
if
Remember
he
that?
got his ass.
He walked into a turnbuckle.
Remember we were watching that
Yeah.
at Alex's house? You remember that?
Yep. If there's a sport that I ever go back on YouTube and watch full like games or anything more, it's boxing. I go
don't
Sugar
do
Ray
that.
Robinson.
I don't do that.
I love
Sugar Ray
boxing.
Robinson's hard to argue.
I love boxing.
And Sidney
Old time
Crosby.
boxing. So boxing now sucks.
Boxing now is horrible. Jake Paul's the biggest name in boxing, which is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Canelo fights.
Crosby could break Gretzky's record of most consecutive seasons with at least 1 point per game in NHL history. He tied it last year with 19 seasons each. So if he can average a point a game this year, he'll have 20 seasons.
Damn. Sidney Crosby, dude, there's some, like I said, we've watched a lot of people in a lot of sports that have been in the GOAT conversation.
It's coming to an end in a lot of these.
But I do feel like, because we're at a good time right now where we kind of not saw the end of Michael Jordan, but we were close. Like in 2050, kids are going to be like,
who the fuck is Michael Jordan?
Right. So we saw that part of it with MJ. We saw the Kobe, the LeBron. It's like, what's it going to be? Because I saw a thing today that said like Jason Tatum is like Tim Duncan, and I'm like, what's it going to be for the NHL? What's, you know what I mean? All these sports. So
NHL, it's McDavid, right? But
there's a lot of guys. Austin Matthews, Eichel. There's McKinnon,
and the goalies.
Bernhard.
He was asking me. He'd be like, what team's this guy? And he's like, how do you know all this information? And I'm like, well, these are all the best players too, though. But like Hellebuck, I'm like, oh, he's the Winnipeg Jets.
It's like, I guess I know for NFL and NBA, but it's just like, fuck, that's another sport. I got to know where every player is playing.
But like I said, those guys are all the best too. So like,
I think the two Kachuk brothers really became superstars in that Final Four.
Oh yeah, and the younger one really, because he scored a goal.
Because they're on the Gold Knights, but I'm not going to not root for those guys to do well.
No, and that's when the Knights played the Panthers, everybody in Vegas, that guy was the biggest villain in the world, and I was like one of the only people. I think obviously you two are in the same boat, but I'm like, that's the guy you want. This is what hockey. If you don't like this and how he's playing, don't watch, because this is how hockey is, and those are the guys that win.
There's a few guys in every sport like that, where if he's on your team, he's your favorite player, and if he's on the opposite team, he's your fucking least favorite
And
player.
I told Danny this the other day. Kachuk and them are different, or it was you said about Dylan Brooks, and I'm like, he's different because he's not good at basketball.
No, he's terrible.
He'll have like random
If he's on your team, he's also your least favorite player.
because he's the guy who talks shit, and it's like, hey, you're just getting the other guy ramped up to be very good, and
Marcus
you're not
Smart.
helping him.
He's your favorite player if he's on your team.
Right.
He's your least favorite player if he's on the other team.
Grant Williams, like when he's hyping up Jimmy Butler, it's like you don't have the offensive
You are not good.
to
But
bucket
the problem is he at least, like Dylan Brooks isn't a good defender either.
No.
Yeah,
at least Grant Williams, the shots that Jimmy Butler was hitting, Grant Williams was right there. It was just better offense. Dylan Brooks will not guard you well and be running his mouth. He's like
He's another Rockets defender.
I don't want to talk about him because I met Patrick Beverley and he was the nicest human on earth. So I have a lot more respect for him.
This guy, if he was on the Celtics, I would have liked him.
I think he's a better player than Dylan Brooks.
Yeah,
he is better, but he said the NBA's his for the next 5 years. He's going to be an NBA champion. He can't believe it. He's like
Steph won a championship and he's in Europe.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Shane just said, has it changed a lot about Vegas? that video that I said.
He's a fucking idiot.
Anything else hockey wise?
Just some trivia.
Yeah.
Top 5 teams. What top 5 teams have won the most Stanley Cups?
Stanley Cups. The Knights?
Yeah, they got to be in there.
Someone's going to comment, too, on this short and be like, the Knights, a expansion team that came into 2016. It's like,
of course.
What's crazy if they just won their first one and that they had 2, they'd be like close to the top 10 already.
Yeah.
The Chicago Blackhawks.
They're tied with 5th with 6.
Detroit Red Wings.
They are 3rd with 11.
Boston Bruins.
Tied for 5th with 6.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
They're just outside of that with 5.
Thanks.
Look that way. I look that way. I'm sorry. So how many did the teams that are in the top 5 have? Just what we have so far.
5 and 3, I believe. Bruins?
Bruins have 6. Bruins and Blackhawks have 6. Red Wings have 11, and there's 2 teams, one with 13, one with 23.
The Kings?
No.
Kings only have 2.
Wow, hold on a second.
I mean, who was Gretzky on? No.
The Oilers. He was on the Oilers.
Oilers have 5 only.
It's Canadian teams.
2 Canadian teams.
Right. Let me get them before the Canadians.
Montreal Canadiens have 23.
Right. Because they're in the original 6. So that's what you got to think, too. The original 6 teams were playing 50 years before fucking anybody
Maple Leafs.
And the Toronto Maple Leafs have 13.
Yeah. You were going to get people. And it's like, dude, we don't know as much hockey as someone who's lived in fucking Alberta their whole life. So, yeah. I mean, still comment. But I might call you a fat retard. So, if you're going to give it, be able to take it.
And like, if you're from Canada,
your mom
like, come on, let's be honest.
You're a pussy.
I'm beating the fucking shit out of you.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that we lost that game because we were the better team, I thought. Had the better chances in overtime. McDavid right in front of the net, wide open in the fucking slot. I mean, Hellebuck he had no shot. You know, the goals too.
He was hella fucked.
I know Billy's watched hockey. Yeah, hella fucked. But like the first goal Canada had, he had no shot.
No, you're just like I told Eric,
It's bouncing off of three
I
people.
used to watch hockey and play the video games growing up, and I was like, when they lost me? When they went on strike for a year. There was no season, and it's like, there's too many sports going on to lose a year to come back.
You could play NHL Pro-Am. We should do that.
I'd be down.
That sounds fucking electrifying.
Yeah, I'd be down.
All right.
You could also go to Water Street, do like open skate and everything.
Yeah,
like
you could also blow people there with your mouth.
Do you do it with shoes on, or you're skating actually, like rollerblades?
No, ice skating.
Oh, no, I'm not doing. I was going to play like field
bro.
hockey because I'm not getting anything on my feet. Like I'm not putting rollerblades, roller skates, ice skates on.
I saw on the VGK subreddit they have like people that meet up and do that like on a basketball court.
Yeah, I would do that. I'd just be laying people out.
I can't skate for fucking shit.
No, me neither.
It's difficult.
Anything
Like I'm an
else,
athlete, but then those things like wheels get on my feet, and I'm just like, I might as well
saw
be
Danny with
fully
Heelys
on the
as a
spectrum,
child.
Like on a whole row.
bro.
Yeah,
At Walmart.
you could hear where he was at in the story. You need to know.
Oh, there's aisle 6.
Aisle
Sir,
6.
did you do
Why?
this?
Because it's horizontal with the floor.
We caused a lot of ruckuses in stores growing up. Billy shooting a car into a bunch of tomato cans, glasses.
You're trying to shoot the M&Ms in the basket, so I
Sour Skittles. But yeah,
Sour Skittles.
You heard mom whistle. Like if you were horsing about and you were away from her and you heard the whistle, you're like, I'm so fucked when I get home.
oh yeah, 100%. Anything else for hockey?
Nope.
All right, part 3 coming out tomorrow. We'll be talking NFL, National Football League. Be better tomorrow than you were today.